Hi everyone! Today we are going to be learning about evaluating expressions with exponents. So our essential question today is, how do we evaluate expressions with exponents? There we go. Sorry about that. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what these words mean. So first, evaluate means solving. So in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at solving the actual exponents, whereas in yesterday's lesson, we looked at only writing the expressions. So what I want you to do real quick is let's look back at yesterday's lesson, and we're going to talk a little bit about some things that maybe we may have missed or that weren't very clear. So the first thing I want to look at is this right here. You should have parentheses around this -7. And the reason why you want parentheses around the whole -7 is because -7 is what's being cubed, not only the 7. So when you see it written here, everything has a parenthesis around it, so we also want the whole thing to have a parenthesis around it before you cube it. That's different from this problem, problem D that we did, that doesn't have parentheses. Here, only the 4 is the base, so the 4 is the base. It's all about the 4, 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 and then we just slide the negative sign over. Okay, so the difference here comes within the parentheses. The whole thing over here, that's the base. The base here is -7. Here, the base is 4. Okay, so there's some differences there. And then last, I want us to look at this down here. So in this problem, we should really have parentheses around this whole thing. And I'm sorry that I forgot to put those there yesterday. Around this whole thing here, because it's not just the 1 that has the exponent. It's the whole 1/4. It's not just 1 times 1 times 1. Then that would be 1 to the 3rd power. But this is 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4. So the whole 1/4 needs to have the exponent around it, so that way we include the whole thing. So something that we should possibly note in here is that we should add this to our notes. Pay attention to parentheses. So if it's the base is -7, and in here, just the 7 is the base. Okay. On this problem, if it's 1/3 to the 3rd, the 1/3 is the base. But if we had 1/3 to the 3rd, this is saying the 1 is the base. Okay, so hopefully that will help a little bit in explaining the parentheses. Okay, so this is just a note and an addition to our notes from yesterday. Hopefully that helps with some of the confusion that was there, and I apologize to you for that confusion. I'm sorry about that. Okay, but back to evaluating expressions. So yesterday we were just writing the expression as the power. So we wrote the expression that was given to us as the power. We weren't solving anything. Today we're actually going to solve. So today we're going to be looking at solving. So let's take a look at an example. And here is our first example. -2 to the power of 4. Okay, so in this problem, we need to first write down our factor. Well, here our factor is -2. Notice it's inside the parentheses, so what we're doing is we are actually multiplying the base, which is -2, 4 times. So -2 times -2 times -2 times -2. So now here's why the parentheses are really important in this one, because I'm going to start multiplying this out. So -2 times -2 is 4, and -2 times -2 is a +4. So now I have two positives. They both have gone, all these negative signs have actually disappeared, and with a total and final answer of 16. Okay, now if we look at another example, let's do this example in pink so that you can see the difference here. If we did this example here, -2 to the 4th, this problem is really saying that the 2 is the base. So this one's only all about the 2. So this one is all about the 2, about the 2, about the 2, about the 2. And then that negative sign comes over after the fact. Okay, so it's like an afterthought. So we're going to solve what's inside the parentheses first. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 2 is 4, which gives us 16, but we have this negative sign left over, so we're going to slap a negative sign on it. These are two different answers, even though they both had a -2. This one included the -2 in the parentheses. This one did not have the -2 as the base. Okay, so those parentheses are used to capture the whole number, the whole integer that wants to be, to have power or to have their exponent. Okay, let's do another example on this problem, so that way we can see what some answers are here. Okay, let's look at example C. So in example C, they have -3 to the 3rd. Again, this -3 is inside those parentheses, so we are going to include those in our example. So this problem, it's all about the -3. And our base is the -3. Maybe we should start labeling the base. Here the base is -3. Here the base is only the 2. Here the base is -2, like that. All right, let's multiply this one more time. So we have 3. This is not 3 times 3, it's actually 3 times 3 times 3, so that is written 3 times. And when we solve this, we have a negative times a negative, so that's a positive, so that's 9. And 9 times -3 is -27. So we get the answer of -27 because the whole thing, the negative sign comes with it. Okay, all right, let's do another example, but in this example, I would like to use a fraction, so you can see how a fraction is used in this work. All right, so we have 1/6 -1/6 to the power of 3. Okay, so we're just going to go to the power of 3 here. And as we're solving, we're going to first look at what this is asking. So the negative sign is in the parentheses, so we're going to keep it inside the parentheses. And we are doing the entire fraction. not just the 1. We're doing the whole fraction. So negative 1 over 6 times negative 1 over 6 and times negative 1 over 6. Okay, now we are ready to multiply. So I have a negative times a negative, which is going to give me a positive 1. And 6 times 6 is 36. So now I have 1 over 36, and I've received a positive. And I need to still multiply this by the negative 1/6. Okay, so again, I'm just going to multiply 1 times 1, and that gives me, or 1 times a negative 1, and that's going to give me negative 1 over 36 times 6. So I have 36, and I'm going to multiply that by 6, and that gives me 6 times 6 is 36, 18, 19, 20, 21, 216. So here is my final answer. I probably didn't need to put that one in parentheses. I think my parentheses are just now starting to get a little carried away. So this one we could have just circled instead. All right. Let's go ahead and do let's do some try-its, and then from there we'll go ahead and check your understanding and then be able to do our practice work for today. So I'm going to turn the page so we can do some try-its. All right. So here are our try-its, and we're going to make sure that we get some in there that have parentheses and some that don't have any parentheses. Okay, so try-it number 1 is 12 to the power of 2, or 12 squared. And then our next one is try-it number 2. Try-it number 2 looks like negative 2 to the 6th. And last but not least, we have try-it number, actually let's do, guys, I'm going to turn this one into negative 1/2. Did we already do negative 1/2? Nope, we haven't. I want this one to be a fraction. Okay, so let me rewrite this. Because if I don't give you a fraction, then I can't give you this other one, and it's going to be weird. Okay, there we go. We still have that 2 on there, so that's okay. And then the last problem that we're going to do is going to be negative 5 to the 4th. And I want to make sure we know how to do these ones when there isn't a parentheses there. Okay, go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me talking. And then when you are all ready, come on back, and then we will check our understanding. All right, in number 1, our base is 12. And so the 12 is multiplied by the 12 twice. Our exponent is a 2, so 12 times 12 is 144. All right, how did you do on that problem? And then the next one we have here, our base is negative 1 over 2 in the parentheses, so it includes the entire fraction, and we're going to write it 6 times in the parentheses. Times negative 1 over 2 times negative 1 over 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is right here why we use exponents, because this takes forever. And see, I put a 6 and I don't know why. Okay, there we go. All right. So 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. So here I have positive 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So there we go. Next one, I have negative times negative is a positive, so I have 1/4. And 1 times 1, 2 times 2. All right, so 1/4. We've gotten rid of all the negative signs because negative times negative gives us a positive, negative, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive. Now we're going to multiply. Keep multiplying. All right, 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4 is 16. And now we have 1/4 left over. So our whole answer is 1 times 1 is 1. And 16 times 4, that's 24, gives us 64. So our answer is 1/64. 1/64. How did you do on that problem? Okay, and then the last one that we're going to look at today is here, right here. In this problem, the base is 5, so it's written 5 times. So 5 times 5, 4 times because it's to the exponent of 4. All right, so we have 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 times 5. And 25 times 25 gives us 625. And now this negative sign right here needs to be put on, so it's negative 625. So this negative sign did not disappear like up here because it was not inside those parentheses. Had it been in the parentheses, then we would have multiplied negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5, which is not what we did. Only the base was 5, and so this comes on as a, oh yeah, by the way, don't forget that multiplication sign. You can also think of this like this, where it's like a -1. You have that invisible -1 in there, and then you multiply it after you do what's inside the parentheses, which is the exponents. Okay? All right, go ahead and answer your essential question. How do we evaluate expressions with exponents? And then put your level of understanding out to the side. When you are finished, you may head on back to Google Meet and ask for help if you need it, or you can go on and do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work and effort, and make it a great day.